So now I think I'm as far away as possible for the people who are going to watch the next session of Superman. So let's talk about Superman. Okay, so as per usual, let me state with, I don't read comic books. My comic book obsession, interest, both, is purely based on any movies that I see in cinema or on TV. So when it was announced that Superman was getting remade, again, my interest is quite low. I only started getting into Superman quite late, in 2016 with Batman vs Superman. I only watched Superman for the very first time purely because Batman vs Superman, and I had to kind of know who the hell this character was besides some guy in spandex, because that's what all the guys are, in spandex. Cool. So I didn't have the hype like everyone else is. I wasn't mad that Henry Cavill was being pushed aside. It's kind of like Batman. I'm a Batman girl. We get a new Batman almost every decade, so I'm kind of used to the change of faces. But watching this one is very interesting. The marketing that I saw for this is quite limited. It's mostly the poster, behind the scenes photos, stuff that James Gunn had shared on his social media. But actually watching the movie, it felt very reminiscent of the 1970s Christopher Reeve films. I don't know why, but for some reason my mind was like, oh, this is a modern Superman, but this is a modern Superman with the 1970s feel. I'm getting Christopher Reeve's vibes here. I'm not getting Henry Cavill vibes, I'm getting Christopher Reeve's. I'm seeing the graphic design with the title cards being 1970s. Very pop culture, kitschy, kind of fits the theme of what you want Superman to embody from previous things. With the cast, I was kind of intrigued. I'm not familiar with a lot of people. I only really know Nicholas Hoult and Pruitt Taylor Johnson, I believe his name is, who I've seen before. But this one is different. So I essentially went in with a fresh mindset for this cast, which is what you really want. But for me, having the title be Superman, it didn't feel like a Superman movie. Yes, James Gunn is notoriously known for doing group films where he focuses on individual characters, and we know from his run with Marvel that he's very good at bringing these very niche characters to screen that a lot of audiences, including myself, don't really know who these characters are. But for me watching it, I felt like it was trying to be almost anything but a Superman film. Yes, Clark is there, yes, Superman's there, but you've got Guy Gardner, which is the Green Lantern. You've got Mr. Terrific, who I don't really know who it is. All I know is he looks like a tech guy. You've got Hawk Girl, which she predominantly screams the Hawk Girl call for the majority of her screen time. You've got Lois Lane, you've got Jimmy Olsen, you've got Chief. I actually forgot his name because I only really know him as Chief. You've got some other random characters that pop in that kind of probably have their purpose, but for me, it was more about those characters and more about how they can bring to life this Superman character. Sure, David Cornswick does his job because he's being paid to do his job and he gets to play the title role. But for me, having him as Superman, it's not a bad thing, but I also felt like he was very underused. He had his moments, but again, I just felt like I was too busy focusing on the Justice Gang or the Daily Planet or Lex Luthor, when I'm like, okay, well, in my mind, Superman movie is Superman and he's bad guy. So why do we have all these other characters? And Anthony Corrigan, who I absolutely love, been a fan of for a good decade or so, his character seemed more important, even though his character really didn't have a major use in the film. I still don't really understand his character, except that he can shapeshift into various things and potentially hurt Superman. But again, there's a lot there that, for me, I kind of didn't understand and felt very underwhelmed. And I know that the whole purpose is a lot of James Gunn is that he's really married to his ideas of comic books and trying to bring as much lore to screen as possible, while also not oversaturating the audiences, again, for people like me who don't understand. But there's definitely elements there that I sat there and going, I'm enjoying this, but also I feel a little lost. Like the opening scene, so we all know James Gunn admitted prior to the release that he doesn't want to just create another lore movie where we find out that he came to Earth because his planet was blown up. He came to this, he came to that because of whatever reasons. So essentially we drop Superman straight into the end of losing a battle, and we find out from there, from the get-go, which, I mean, works for this film, but also there's some imbalance there because you're starting at the end of a battle sequence. It kind of made me feel like I missed a lot, even though this is how the film started. So there was definitely something there that I struggled to latch on straight away. It took me some time, but I did get there. I was in a sold out session, which was great. This is also the first time, regardless of what movies I've seen over the years, this is the first time where I've heard people cheer and clap during closing credits, which was insane. I was like, what session am I in? Is this like a wedding? Is this the party? Why is everyone clapping and cheering? Like, there is 2 post-credit sequences. They're not major, but they definitely are kind of lighthearted and very nice. That's another thing I noticed with this one. So again, kind of a turning back to the characters. Looking at everyone that's in this, and again, this is something that James Gunn is notoriously known for, but he's not the only director this happens with. But I'm finding a lot of the cameos felt like he was just kind of putting them in for the sake of putting them in. There is one character who I don't want to reveal because it's a nice little surprise, but there is one character there that I was like, why did you introduce this character? Out of all the characters, specifically at the end of your film, why are you introducing this character right now? I'm familiar with this character. Like, this is probably the only Superman character that I am familiar with. And I just felt like, oh, this isn't in my head how I expected this particular character to be. Like, it feels very, here she is, and now she's gone, but it's like a carrot dangling in front of your face. So it kind of felt very underwhelming for that sequence. I didn't hate Superman, but I just felt even, I don't know, there's probably a bad choice of words, but I felt content. Like, I was expecting something, and I got given something, just not what I was expecting, but I also don't know what I was expecting. And I would love to hear what other people thought of Superman. I know in the last 24 hours I have heard mixed reactions, and it's definitely, I can definitely agree on mixed reactions, specifically the closer you get to the ending, because you're like, oh, it's going to end. Wait, no, there's more. Oh, it's going to end. No, and there's more. I think just because there was so much to fulfill that it just felt very unexpected and content to watch. Like, there's laughable moments. It's not bad, it's not good, but it's also content. It kills a great hour, 2 hours or so. And upside, I didn't look at my watch, I didn't look at my phone. I was in a sold out session, so we all laughed at the right moments, we all like gasped at the right moments, jumped scared at the right moments. But again, there was just something there that felt missing and underused, or maybe it was just me not used to a character that I'm not too familiar with.